Hello, everybody. How you doing? As usual, when I start this thing off, I'll have to assume that everybody can hear me. Uh, it appears that the meters are bouncing around, but past couple of days, I've been watching some big time YouTubers live streams. Some political guys, and they come on and their lips are moving, but there's no sound. So so get kind of paranoid when they do it. What chance do us unprofessional little guys have? So how we doing tonight? We got five of us here. Not quite as big a start as my little birthday party, but I understand that was a real occasion, and it was I think maybe a better time. 9 o'clock at night might be a better time than 6. I don't know. I'll stick with the 6. I pick up as the stream goes on, as people's Ken Heron alarm clocks go off. Oh, hiya, Gary. How you doing? There he is. Oh man, good. I
This is the
didn't have
first
to
time
ring
I
it.
was at your birthday party.
Did you miss it?
No, I was on, remember?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that whole thing is a blur. I was going like a one-armed paper hanger that night. That was great though. I tell you what,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
for anybody that's listening or ends up watching the replay of this live stream, I want to thank everybody for the response I got to that. I mean, it was really not a big deal. One lousy year on YouTube, but maybe I had a nice warm feeling when it was all over, about the community and about the people in it. Bunch of great people. So thanks to everybody for that. And Trev is here. How you doing? Who else we got in here? We got Jody, Drone Shots. Paul, Drone Bum, stopped by, but he said he had to go out to dinner. Wish me well. Michael Bainey is here. Hello, Michael. How are you? You all remember Michael, my first live stream guest on my first live stream. It's nice to see that you still show up every once in a while. That's good. Gary, how are you?
Doing great. I posted a video today of a failed flight.
I saw that. I commented on it.
3 batteries, more than 40 minutes of flying time, and as soon as I landed, the train came.
Well, what came to my mind as I was watching that was, could you have just gone up a little higher and spotted the train very far away and then landed and waited till it got closer?
What I kept doing was going up and looking down to the west because it was coming from the west, and then I'd come back down and make sure I had a nice shot of that bridge, and get the angle just right. And the sun was perfect, and go back up, and still no train, and come back down, and the battery starts beeping, so you land it. You go back up, find your spot, get on your mark, go back up, look for the train, nothing happened. Oh, it was just a disaster. Now, I edited that all down to, 59 seconds?
Yeah, well,
Because most of it was just sitting there still, looking at that bridge,
yeah. I mean, what could you actually, what adventure could you portray, or
Yeah.
a story could you tell other than just sitting there waiting for the stupid train?
Now,
What was it?
we have a plan for next time. My wife is going to go 2 or 3 miles up the track, right? I'll get ready to launch the drone. When she sees the train coming, she'll phone me.
Ah,
I'll launch the drone and away we go. So
that's funny.
Waiting in the air, But the thing is, that train comes around 4:45. With the sun set the way it is now at 4:45, the sun is just setting. So now I have to wait until January, early February to get the same shot. So
That's or you could lay down on the tracks and put your ear against the metal,
Great big
and,
greasy spot up the side of it.
you'd probably hear it a couple miles away
Oh,
as the
man.
cars and buses run you over.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
funny. Oh man. No, that was I saw that came up, and then Mel posted a video today about his live streaming adventures on the from the smart controller, and I imagine that that same tact would work on the Crystal Sky. But he said I have a Crystal Sky, but I don't even live stream from a cell phone. So I mean, I have no incentive to do it. I don't particularly care to live stream from the drone, but it'd be nice to know that I could. But I'm going to let him test it out. Somebody's sending him a Crystal Sky to do that. And Mars is in the chat. Hi, Mars. And who else is here? Oh, Tomas. Tomas, how you doing? Yeah, I said hi, but let me give you a verbal hello. So, Jody, let me take a few minutes here. Jody asked me a bunch of questions about batteries, and I told him I'd address that once we got going. So before we end up with 4 or 5 people in the panel and going crazy, let me talk a little bit about batteries. Okay, so here you go, Jody. This one's for you. The on the Vipers. The Vipers. These are the Vipers. I use a 1500 milliamp 3-cell LiPo, and it fits right in that little holder perfectly. I had bought these batteries when I was first starting an FPV for my 5-inch drones because I figured a 3S wouldn't be as fast and would be easier to fly, but I outgrew that very quickly up to 4S, so I really had no use for these, and they it turns out that they're perfect for the Viper. And what I did was I don't know if I'm trying to show you this. I took, let me make me a little bigger here, Gary. I took the cable, if you can see that, and just cable tied that whole connector with the barrel connector and all that, where the little extension with the XT60 plugs in. I just cable tied that all to the back of this thing, so the wires don't pull or anything. And then right before I fly, I just plug the 2 XT60s together. So that seems to work pretty good. 3S, you certainly are going to get a full day of flying or more out of one of these packs, and the voltage is shown in the on-screen display in the goggles anyway, so you just make sure that you don't get below like 10.5 volts total, which is 3.5 volts a cell, and that works pretty good. So that is what I do for the Vipers. Now, you also asked about the Jumper T16, and I use the 18650s. And I'm going to show you what I bought here. I bought it on Amazon. Victogen Universal Smart Charger. I'm going to go ahead and put the link to that in the chat, so if you're interested. But you got to be careful with these 18650s because not all of them are lithium ions. Most of them are nickel metal batteries, which is the old-fashioned kind that we used to buy. And a ton of them that you see that say like 9,000 milliamp hours are not even rechargeable. They're just like big AA batteries. You use them and throw them away. And of course, they're much cheaper. I bought this charger, and it's over here. Bought this charger, and it came with those 2 batteries, and that's all I need. I really don't need any more replacements. The batteries work great. They're 3,200 milliamps. You charge them up in the charger. In the T16 here, let me make myself big again. In the T16, the battery tray is back here, and they give you the holder. Oh, they're yellow. They're green screening.
Well, the CPU.
I have transparent batteries. They're very expensive, but they're really cool. But you can see if they're empty or not. Here, hold on a second, guys. Here we go. All right, there we are.
There we go.
Okay, so there's the 18650s, and I don't even take this out of the radio. I just take my little charger here and pop that sucker in there. Did you see that? I just launched it. Cool.
It's a catapult.
That was cool. Let me go get it. That was more fun than flying, man. At any rate, it's got a pretty strong spring in it.
Looked like you're chasing shell casings or something.
Yeah, these just go right in here like this, and then you just plug this into it. It has the USB, micro USB. You plug it into any source of 5.1, and it tells you when they're charged, and works pretty good. Then you take them out of there, pop them back into the radio. It would be nice if they actually had a way to just plug the radio in to charge these things, and that's one of the things that Jumper might want to work on. But that's all there is to it, and then it's charged. I'm just enamored with this radio, though. I really, really, really like it. So that's the battery deal. Did I get everything that you needed, Jody? If I didn't, let me know. And who else we got? We have Ed, Love My Drones. How you doing? Here, Mars. I said hi to Mars. I miss anybody? Don't think so. All right, Gary.
All right, we're back.
Live you again. We're back. So that was my homework. I did my homework.
That looks good.
Yeah. So I was on in the chat, not on the show, but last night, a couple of the guys here were there as well in Bill Thomas's show, Coast to Coast Drones. I don't know. Were you there, Gary?
No.
He has a show, Drone Therapy.
Yep.
And I was and he has Ron Brown, Michael, how does he pronounce it? Cuppy? Cuppi?
John Cuppy, yeah.
John, not Mike, John Cuppy, yeah. Everybody named Michael. He was in there, and we got off on the subject of the FPV goggles and iNav and all the new stuff that I'm learning here. And it's funny that we was talking about it because the thing that I'm trying to do right now is get rid of these things. I mean, these things are huge. They work, but they're big. Okay, if you can see how big they are when I hold them up next to my face, you can see they're just big. It's like I was joking when I first got them. I love them and they work great, and they're probably the best box goggles going. And I have to have goggles that I can wear over my glasses, which leaves out just about every other goggle made. The Fat Sharks and all those, you can't put glasses under them. They're too small and they fit right up against your head. You can get lenses for them.
The DJI goggles are too small?
No, the DJI goggles are the only other goggles that I can put over my glasses.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Which is what made me buy them, because not just, well, that and the fact that it's digital, but I would love to be able to have one of those skinny little pair of Fat Sharks that I could just flip up and down like this with one hand. It's so easy. These things, these Vipers, while they're great, they're cumbersome. I used to joke it feels like I was wearing a refrigerator on my head. you know.
Now, how about the Epson Movarios? How would they work for you?
Now, you don't. They wouldn't. They would be horrible because you want to immerse yourself in the flight. You don't want to see through.
Yeah.
You don't want to see through. You're not flying line of sight. Line of sight flying with an FPV drone is about next to useless.
Yeah.
Maybe when you're testing it and you're keeping it close in, but you can't tell whether those things are coming or gone, unless you put all different color props on them and bright LEDs to show. They're not made, they're not really designed to fly line of sight. They're designed to climb into, strap yourself in, and you wear the goggles. So because of my prism correction that I need in my eyes, any of the standard diopters that they sell for, and astigmatism, I got that too. So any of the standard like drugstore glasses kind of lenses will not work for me because I still am going to see double. I'm going to see one image over the top of the other. I'll see two screens, one on top of the other. If I don't have the prism correction that brings them to the same level where my brain can blend them together. So I was stuck with the big box goggles, which worked, but very, very cumbersome. And when the DJI things came out, I said, "Wow, they will fit. They will fit over glasses. There's room, and they do fit right over your glasses. See." And they're much smaller. You can see if I hold them both up together, the DJIs are much. Let's see if I can get this. There you go. They are. They're about half as deep as these things, and they weigh about half as much too. So where'd Gary go? Gary is missing in action. Well, we'll just leave him there, and I'll get back to the Great Goggle Saga in a minute, but let me welcome in the man who's figuring out all the crap that DJI says is impossible. Hi, Mel.
Hello, Mitch.
What'd you do? Where'd Gary go?
Is that TV too loud?
Yes. Yes, it is.
Which well, the gain's already down on that. What happens if I turn this down? Can you still hear me?
Still hear you. Still hear the TV.
Still hear the TV.
Yeah.
Okay, let me turn the TV down a little bit.
Or a good idea. Must be something big on TV that he doesn't want to miss. Where'd you go, Gary? I was about to send out a search party.
We've had some furnace trouble here, and you have to go down the basement and hit the little red furnace to get heat to come on.
Mute it.
Is Mel back? No.
No, he's out there lowering his TV.
Huh?
And we're waiting to see if we can hear it. No, that's good. I can't hear it now. Problem with these things is that StreamYard just mutes everything when some other sound comes in, and if you have any background noise at all, it makes it almost impossible. That's better, Mel. Yeah, that's better.
Yeah, got you now.
So, yeah, I saw your video today about the streaming, and that was, the one thing that really I got to give you kudos on figuring out was that press the start button to start the stream, and there's no start button, only a stop button.
Yeah.
I mean, and it was a green stop button. So I mean, once you've done it the first time, you'll learn that if it's green, that means start. If it's red, it means stop. But
well, no, it was blue, but
was it blue? Okay.
Yeah, they're all blue. Hello, Mars. Hello, everybody in chat.
Yeah, let me say hi to Steve Mack and Jim Wallace. Rick Halber's here. How are you? And who else? That's about it, I think. Okay, go ahead.
So, yeah, and I'm still working. I've still got other things I want to do because there are guys that have smart controllers that don't yet have 1,000 subscribers. So the next barrier is the YouTube 1,000 subscriber requirement barrier for live streaming from a mobile device.
Can't you do that do it with the RTMP?
That's what I'm going to test next. Yep.
Yeah, because that's how a lot of the guys were getting around it.
Sure, but so far the RTMP works best on other Android devices and iOS. Now, I tried it with RTMP on the smart controller before I came over here where I'm at now, before I hit 1,000 subs, and it would not work. So now that I've got more education on what it is that DJI prevents or blocks for whatever reason, whether Google services is illegal in China or it's the Chinese government or what, I don't know the backstory and the reason why. I just know that DJI does not support live streaming to YouTube from their Android devices. They'll let you stream to Facebook all day long. But who the hell uses it?
Got to be something political involved there.
It's got to be. That's what I'm thinking. So they also will not let you remove their Lightning browser from the smart controller. Usually, you get a device, you can add or remove apps at your leisure. Well,
but even then, there's still generally some apps on a phone when you get it that they won't let you get rid of.
True, like Verizon won't let you get rid of the Google app because that's what Verizon uses for their email and all that stuff. So yeah, I get that. And if you get a Verizon phone, you have to create a Google email address to log in on the phone. Whether you ever use it or not doesn't matter, but you have to use it. You have to have it. So the next thing that I'm going to work on is how the RTMP side will work.
Well, good luck. Let us know. Let us know.
Oh, I will. Probably,
hey, you got a good, you got these tutorial type videos are I think some of the better things to do on YouTube because they have worth and value.
They
other
have more
than just
value,
a bunch of old farts like us sitting around talking about nothing in general,
Right.
Nothing will help your video like how to or hack.
Right. And speaking of old farts,
I used all three of those
hold on
words.
a second. Hold on a second. Speaking of old farts, here's another one.
Oh.
Hi, Ed.
Hey, Matt, how you doing, brother?
Good. I saw you sitting in the green room there. I didn't want to leave you out there too long. Didn't mean to cut you off, Mel, but
yeah. So that's the next phase in the project, and I had someone donate a Crystal Sky.
Donate or
Yep.
loan you?
Nope, donate.
Man, I don't know how
cool.
you do that. I don't know how you do that.
What do you mean how I do? That's the first time anything like that's ever happened.
A 5-inch or an 8-inch?
A 5-inch, 5.5,
okay.
whatever it is.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, then I don't feel so envious,
Oh,
He's just,
Gee.
just a lovable old guy, okay?
yeah.
I love it.
So yeah, that's it. According to the tracking number, it was in Little Rock this afternoon. So I may get it tomorrow. It's slated for Saturday delivery. So yeah.
Well, you don't want to get it tomorrow because tomorrow's Friday the 13th, and if you get it tomorrow, it'll be broken.
Nah.
I got something coming tomorrow, and I'm afraid it's going to be broken when it gets it. Not that I'm superstitious or
Well,
anything, but
Is that your
See,
Skydio coming?
what's that?
Is your Skydio coming?
I haven't got my email yet.
Oh.
I'm not important. Look, I ordered this stupid thing, but I'm not important enough like Billy Kyle and Ken Dono and Ken
Dono.
Herron and all these other guys who probably didn't order them but got shoved to the top of the list because they're so important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I embrace those kind of numbers. In fact, every chance I had to pick a truck number for my truck, it always ended in 666.
Well, that explains a lot.
Yeah, it does.
I am the beast.
Oh, Mel.
The good Lord.
Devil driver.
When I wake up in the morning, the good Lord says, "Oh hell, he's up."
Now, do you know what the significance of 668 is?
668.
Yeah.
No, I know what 666 and 442 mean.
The neighbor of the beast.
The what?
The neighbor of the beast.
Oh.
They got
Next door.
668.
Oh, man. So I was talking about goggles, and the and I wanted to talk about this because I know some of the guys were interested. The DJI goggles have an AV in jack, right back by the power jack, tucked way in there, tucked to the point where if you have it uses what they call a TRRS plug. It's like, you know what that means?
Yeah,
TRS and TRRS. It means tip ring and what's the S stand for?
Isn't it shielding?
Shield. No, but the S means something else. At any rate, it's the ground part, the back part. So when you have a TRS, you have a tip, a ring in the middle, and ground. So it's a three-wire deal. When you have a TRRS, you have two rings, a front ring and a back ring, the tip and the shield. It is shield, that's right. So I'm looking everywhere for some kind of documentation that tells what the stupid AV jack is in the goggles, because I have on these Vipers, there's an AV out jack on the side, and they give you a cable, but the cable terminates in RCA pin jacks, a yellow one and a red one. So the yellow one is video and the red one is audio. And I took a multimeter and I rang it out, and I found out that the tip on the and it's a 2.5 millimeter jack plug that goes into the goggles, not a 3.5, but it's a 3.5 in the DJI goggles. So this started an adventure. Try to figure out what goes to where. So I knew that I knew damn well that the Viper goggles were outputting their composite video because I plugged it into a television set, and voila, the picture on the drone showed up on the TV set, so I knew it was working. And now I have to try to figure out. So I write to DJI, and I had an experience not too dissimilar from yours. I wrote to DJI customer support, and with the Chinese, you got to keep it real simple in English. You can't get too flowery and wordy. You have to, So I put a picture of the two different plugs, a TRS and a TRRS graphic, and underneath of it I said, please tell me which plug the AV in on the DJI FPV goggles use, and what is the audio and what is the ground, the video and what's the ground. Because if you go and look up the standard wiring for these things, there is no standard. There's 5 or 6 different standards depending on who the manufacturer was. Apple is different than Panasonic, is different than everybody else. So when you buy a plug-in device for a cell phone, just because it's got a 4 or TRRS plug on it doesn't mean it's going to work in your iPhone.
Yeah.
And in most cases, the ground, believe it or not, is not the shield. The ground, more often than not, is the ring that's right next to the shield. And I went researching these things, and I got all these different diagrams, and I'm trying to figure out how it works. And I'm cutting up cables, and I'm tying wires together and trying to get something to show up on the goggles. Can't get anything to show up on the goggles. Nothing, just black. Then they have this firmware update on the goggles, and it says, and it wasn't black, it was a blue screen. So in the firmware update on the goggles, it says, we fixed all the problems with the AV in, we've eliminated the latency, there'll be no more blue screen, blah, blah, blah. So I updated the goggles and did all that, and they were all right. I had no blue screen. Now I had a black screen. That was the progress. So I get a thing back from DJI, and it says nothing, absolutely nothing. Nice. Thank you so much for being a customer. We hope you're having a great day. We are forwarding your request on to one of our senior engineers, not just any old regular engineer, mind you.
Yeah, the senior one.
The senior engineer.
The old guy.
Yeah. So I wait.
Exactly, Gary.
I wait 2 more days, and I get an email back. We're sorry to hear that you're having problems. Try resetting your goggles.
Oh, God.
Period.
And that's
Okay.
the senior guy saying that crap?
Yeah, I don't know who it was. So try resetting your goggles. So I did. I reset my goggles and, of course, wiped out all the drones they were bound with and had to rebind. Well, I had, rebind them. Of course, I had to do that with the firmware update anyway. Still nothing. Still black screen. And I tried every combination. I even figured, well, it's most likely to be the same pinouts as a Fat Shark. I mean, because guys with so I emailed Joshua Bardwell. You know who Bardwell is. I emailed Bardwell. I said, help me, because I know he's got his analog shit working. All right. I said, help me. Is it a TRS or a TRRS? And he says, I think it's a TRRS. He says. He writes right back, like in 5 minutes. This guy.
That's
so I couldn't believe it.
Actually.
And I write him back and I thank him. And then I reply back to him. I said, you wouldn't happen to know how the pins are wired, would you? And he emailed me back and he said, no, I just used the wire that we use with the Fat Sharks. So the light bulb went off. Aha, that's how it's wired. So now I start reasoning. Keep in mind, this is all because I want to use these goggles for analog as well, because the picture in these goggles is so enormously wonderful that I want this to be my main goggle.
Now, have you thought about this, Mitch? Because some of those AV outputs on some of those goggles can be AV in or AV out, but you have to change a setting in the goggles themselves.
Yeah, no, the Vipers have 2 separate plugs. One is AV in, the other is AV out. So,
gotcha.
And it works. I told you, I plugged it into a TV and it worked fine. I wanted the first thing I would do is to make sure there's a signal there. And I even went so far as to take a little camera and wired it up to a plug and a battery. Okay, so that I have a source of video right from a camera, and plug that into my TV, and that worked too. So I have 2 different sources. It's still nothing but black. So I look up I look it up and I find out that that Amazon sells a cable for Fat Shark, AV cable for the Fat Shark goggles. And it was like $6. So I said, you know what? I'm just gonna buy it, and when I get it, I'll get my multimeter out and find out what's wired to what. So I get
that. $6. What the hey?
Yeah. So I get the cable, and the friggin' plug, on this thing is like a 1/2 inch around on the end. And not only won't it fit into these goggles, you can't even get it near the jack. It's so big, and what you need is you need one of these little skinny ones, see, to fit in there behind the power plug. So I find it. So I did figure out how it was wired, and the way it's wired is the shield at the bottom is ground. The first ring up is video.
Okay, then you got left and right sound.
Then the top 2, the tip and the first ring, are left and right audio. All right, but the base ground is ground. The first lower ring is the video signal. I said, okay, this is great. What I'm going to do is I'm going to I have some small TRRS plugs. I had some old useless wires that I don't use for anything, so I cut them and I stripped them, and I start connecting wires to an RCA pin jack that I can use a barrel connector and plug it into the output of these goggles. And I figured, okay, I got you now. I plug it all together and I turn it on. Black. Black. Nothing. Now I get another email from this is when I was ready to launch an attack against a DJI in China. I get an email from DJI. They send me an image attached to the email, which I can't open. It's corrupt. So I figured, well, that's it. That's the answer right there, and I can't even see it. So I write the guy back and I say, I can't see your image. So a couple hours later, I get another email with an attachment, not just an embedded image, a ping that I can download. So I download the ping. This is from their senior engineer. And what does he send me but a picture of a TRRS jack with nothing connected to it? The exact picture I sent him in my first email. That's what he sends me. And then in about a half hour later, I get a survey from DJI wanting me to tell them how great their support is. Now I was
So have you made that comment yet, Mitch?
No, not yet. But here, and anyway, let me get back to the great adventure. So now I said, this is stupid. Now I hate to admit it to you guys, but I have a couple pair of these DJI goggles. They had a big sale on them, and I bought another pair. Okay, because I figured I could, for spectators or just to have them. All right,
nobody had a sale.
Okay. Yeah, they did. They had a sale. At any rate, so I have a brand new, and I didn't want to open them because I figure I might want to resell them. I got them at a pretty good price. But I said, you know what, these goggles have got to be broken. There's got to be something wrong with these goggles. So I go and I open up the other box, and I take it out, and I have to register it because you can't even turn the friggin' thing on without registering. So I register it, and I update the firmware in it, and I do all this shit, and I finally get around, and I plug that sucker into the AV thing.
And let me guess.
Black screen, same friggin' thing. And I said, now this is crazy because all these other guys are using these goggles for their AV. I know I got it wired right now. Why the hell won't this work? So I start, believe it or not, looking, Googling DJI FPV analog AVN problems. And there aren't, these things are new. There's not a lot of stuff. But I find one forum somewhere. I don't even know what it was. And it was a guy that had the same problem I was having. And so I started reading down all the comments, and half the comments, so that's a piece of shit, but finally there was one comment, and this guy said something that just absolutely didn't make any sense to me, and I almost overlooked it. And he said, reduce the field of view to about 80% and then increase it back to 100%. See, on the DJI goggles, you have a setting in the settings that you can actually shrink the whole picture down. So he says, reduce it to 80 and put it back to 100. I said, what the hell is that supposed to mean? So I take the goggles and I go and I go to the field of view. I reduce it to 80%. I kick it back up to 100%. Plug the analog shit in, and it works.
No way! Wow!
Honest to God, it actually. I couldn't. 3 weeks I screwed with that thing.
Now what?
It actually worked.
Now what makes you wonder, Mitch, is how he figured that out.
Well, here's what I wondered was how come everybody else's worked, and the reason is they had changed that at one point
or another,
and I never touched it. So there's a bug in their software that until you have moved that thing out of 100 and then back into it. Something is not set right, and it can't scale the AV properly on the screen, and that's all it took. Now I can't make it not work. No matter what I do, it works all the time now. So I took my other pair of goggles just for the hell of it, and did the same thing on that pair of goggles, and now that pair of goggles works too with the AV input.
So how much you want for that spare set of goggles?
Well, it's just a set of goggles. It's not a camera and a transmitter, right?
No, I ended up. Now what they had is they had a sale for $6.99. You got the goggles and 2 air units. So I went ahead and had ordered that. It came from China. Then they went ahead and lowered the price for all the holiday sales to that same thing anyway. So now the Black Friday deals was $6.99 for the goggles and air units. I don't need their transmitter.
The beauty of all that, though, Mitch, is that you can really take someone for a ride now.
Oh, it's really cool. So now I've got now that I've got the AV in working on these things, I actually took it out and hooked it up to my. I have another one of these little screen things on a little tripod, the same screen as this, that I use when I'm working on them in the shop. I took that out and I set it up, and I just lit a long wire into the things, and I flew the first flight with the, and I forgot to record it. It didn't. The recording doesn't come on automatically like it does when you arm your quad in the digital system. But
Gotcha.
I did fly one short flight right around the house outside here, and it was the analog with these goggles was almost as good as the digital. It was so immersive. Yeah, you
But
had a
then
little
you have
static
to-
and stuff.
Then you have to have a wire plugged into you, though.
No. Okay, so that leads me to the next thing.
Well, I was going to ask you that because I was wondering if you were using the receiver on the Vipers to the AV out to power the. What's
See
that?
this? This is something I just made. This is a Fat Shark receiver module,
Oh, gotcha.
and it just plugs. And and there's a guy put out the 3D print for this thing, and I printed this. And they make a kit to convert these goggles, but you have to take the goggles all apart and void your warranty. With this thing, all you do is you take the black plate off the front, which is just 2 screws and doesn't void your warranty, and you put this thing on instead, and the wires just run around outside and plug in instead of being wired inside.
That's
And
cool.
then I made a different power cord for it that has a split out. There it is. It has a split out that'll plug into the little 5-volt BEC that's in here. So this thing really didn't. I bought this AKK module, which is like the True D. It's their cheap knockoff Chinese version of it for $30 from Amazon. I haven't tried it yet. I just got it today. Just got the module today. I'm going to put in the description of this video the link to the Thingiverse files for these things. They fit perfectly. And what this will do is takes the DJI goggles, and you put this on the front, and you just plug the 2 plugs in, and you have analog. Put a couple of antennas, just like you do on Fat Shark. It has this it's a standard Fat Shark module, and it converts the DJI goggles into analog, self-contained, without having to
So that you can
void
fly
the-
it with all
void-
your drones without having to have all the
Right.
modules.
one goggle, take one set of goggles out to the field, whether it's an analog drone, because all my fixed wings that these FPV things I'm flying are all analog,
Right.
and most of my drones are still analog, but I want to use these goggles. So after 3 weeks of if I had any hair, I would have pulled it all out, and Unfortunately, I didn't have any hair to pull out, but
No, that's awesome.
what an
man.
adventure. What an adventure that was, trying to make the analog thing work. Let me stop a second here, and then we'll get back to you guys. That was a long story. Let me say hi to, got Hey Jack FPV is in the house, and he is white, so he hasn't been here before, and we are going to make you a moderator. And he had a question. Have you tried higher gain antennas on the DJI goggles yet? No, I haven't, because I haven't done any long range flying, and I haven't had any problems with the goggles that are there. But I have been looking into it, and I have been watching a lot of the different videos that the guys are doing. Matt North, how you doing?
Yeah, he needs a wrench too.
Yeah, I see that. I'm trying to do a little housekeeping, but that was a long story, but what an adventure that was. And I said, well, maybe I should make a video about that, but I didn't want to make a whole video about just that. I may be the only guy on the planet.
Make the video, because
Yeah.
the adjustment in the resolution size is not commonly known, apparently. And
No, look,
No.
man.
No,
Mel,
it isn't.
but the
It's
dinner
amazing that somebody figured that out by accident.
dinner's
sure
on
it was
the table.
by
Well, the thing is they don't even know they figured it out. But
Yeah, exactly.
Well, this guy
Dinner-
did. This
dinner's
guy
on
who.
the- dinner's on the table. I gotta go.
Oh, okay, Mel. Well, thanks for coming in, buddy. Appreciate it.
See you,
Well,
Mel.
well,
See you next time. So
Also say
yeah,
hi
that
to
was.
Kenny from Media.
Oh,
Kenny's here.
hey, Ken, how are you? Good
Yeah.
to see you. Who else came in that I missed? Did I miss anybody else? Drone Strike LLC. I see you're in here, and
man, it's magic.
whoa, Kenny Cardosa, Matt North, Hey Jack FPV, got you. Trevor's
Metro.
still here. Metro Drones, how you doing? How you doing? Yeah, that was the most I was having nightmares about making this analog thing work. I was beginning to feel like, why am I the only guy in the world that can't get his analog to work? And I was holding out hope that maybe when I had ordered this module, when I finally got this little module in, that the output from it would be enough to make the goggles work. But I said, no, that can't be right. Because these guys are plugging them into ground stations, they're plugging them into everything. Evidently, every one of those guys had played with that setting of reducing the field of view, and I had never. I tried that, I would never have had the problem.
Well,
Well,
if you do a how-to video on that and the making of your cover that goes over,
Yeah, I'm gonna. I think I will.
yeah, that one's going to
Hey.
be viral like your vlogging rig thing did.
But this was not my idea. There's another YouTube guy. I think his name is Faruda, who does terrific stuff, and he's where I found all the information for this. So I mean, I'll do the video and certainly give him credit, and I definitely want to give the guy the credit that took all the time to create the STL file to print this.
Well, first of all, you need to make that video, Mitch, and send a link to that video to that senior technician at DJI.
They wouldn't. They wouldn't care. They don't. They half the time they. I think they have a back room where they have people that laugh at. They pay people to laugh at these things. We had back. Had a company a long time ago, and we had our complaint department was people sitting around laughing at people. I mean, people,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, this guy's an idiot. Whatever.
Anyway, it came out pretty good.
That's great.
And then the cover for it, I printed that too, because you can print different modules require different covers. So this is an exact copy of the True D module, which costs a hell of a lot more than $30. I hope, and I'm sure it'll work fine. But I don't have a Fat Shark. I never did. So this is the first time I've actually ever held a Fat Shark receiver module in my hand. But it just fits right into the into here perfectly, like it was made for it. And then that just snaps in
Brilliant.
into here, like that. That snaps in, and that just screws with 2 screws right to the front of the goggles, and you plug the little power thing into here. And this wire, which I haven't decided how long, I haven't soldered it on yet, so I'll make it the right length, will go right around and plug in next to the power cord into the AV input. And that's all you need. So you don't need to open the goggles, take them all apart, void your warranty, go through all that grief to solder stuff up inside the goggles. All you need is something to the video plug and a way to power it. And the only thing I needed to buy was this little UBEC. You know what they are, little battery eliminator, BEC battery eliminator circuit that takes anything from 2 to 6S input and turns it into 5 volts out.
Now, the printing of that was what was covered in your intro coming in before the show.
Right. That's what I was showing. Was
the guy making some Ray-Ban sunglasses here?
Yeah, I was wondering if anybody would pick that up, so I thought that was funny. But I just took my cell phone out and shot a couple of minutes of this thing being printed.
Yeah, looks good.
It's an interesting print. I'm still not really sold on whether the red is. We'll have to see. It's going to be unusual to have the big red eyes on the front of the.
Use what you got, Mitch.
That's what I have, and I ordered. I'm running out of red. Everything I've ever printed is red, so now I ordered a roll of black, and maybe I'll reprint it in black. I don't know. But yeah, to be different, be different, be red. So that's my little project that I've been working on.
Oh, Kenny from Cordosa Media says he won ND filters for a Mavic 2 Pro.
Really?
From Ken Heron, but he doesn't have a Mavic 2 Pro. He's got to go and buy one to fit the filter.
Be some expensive filters there, Ken. And Lisa, lovely Lisa is here. How you doing? Lisa comes in and sees us once in a while. AZ, I guess that's Arizona Drone Dude. How are you doing, my friend? Thanks for stopping by. Man, I'm still eating birthday cake. No, I'm not. No birthday cake. Let me see. Am I missing anybody? Nobody in the chat.
Roger's here.
What's that?
Roger.
Hey, how you doing, Roger?
Oh, there you go.
Good to see you. Yeah.
Boy, celebrity in the crowd.
Yeah. Speaking of celebrity,
hey, Mitch, it's funny because you had your 1 year anniversary on Monday, I think, the 9th.
Right.
My 2 year anniversary was actually on the 8th, and I didn't realize it until I watched your stream, and then it made me think, oh, I wonder when I started the two.
That's all right, Ed. Nobody cares about you anyway,
Oh, you're right about that.
Oh, man. Remember what I said. If I stop busting on you, it means I don't like you.
Yeah, okay.
Only bust on friends,
I'm being paged here for dinner, so I'm going to let you go.
Oh, okay.
Thanks for having me on, Mitch, and we'll.
Thanks for coming in, Gary.
We'll catch the rest of it. We'll probably see you over at Ken's in an hour or so.
Yeah, I like I say, I come when I go into Ken's, I get in the chat, say hi, and then put the chat down. Because I'm usually outside, going to smoke a cigar, watch my TV on the porch, and that cell phone chatting is terrible. I hate that.
Not the same.
Yeah.
Anyway, goodbye, everybody. Thanks for having
Gary.
me, Mitch.
Take care.
See you again next week.
Bright aerials, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
Later, brother.
Where is it? You're out. There it is. RC Funds Diversion, how you doing? Welcome. So Ed, it's just you and me now. Where's everybody? I was going to say I'm going to be on Oz by Drone tomorrow night.
Oh, really? That's cool.
Yeah, I'm going to be a guest. Greg sent me an email today that went right into my junk folder. Honest, it did. And then he comments on the video. Did you get my email? I said no, I didn't. I went looking. I found it. He wanted me to be a guest, so the guy really takes it seriously. I mean, he has got a whole website about how to navigate the technicalities of his show and everything, and it's terrific. Very, very professional. Where'd you go, Ed?
No, I'm here.
Oh, okay. All I see is a drone.
Yeah, that's my that's Mad Dog 1.2. Has a new what is it? I can't remember now. Anyway, this is Mad Dog 1 that I broke because it committed suicide. And a TBS Source 1 frame. The motors have been tested, rotation changed on a couple. Got the annoying OSD from the Foxeer FPV cam off the screen, and it's fully functional, and I just need to finish putting the frame together. So there
Cool.
you go.
And then, man, I wanted to fly in the worst way today because I wanted to fly some more with these analog, play some more with the analog goggles and the DJI on analog. And did it rain up there like it did down here?
Yeah, we just had a shower that just came through.
It
And
rained all day today.
yeah, it's been gray and gloomy for the last 2 days.
For
That
those of you
cold
who
front-
don't know it, Ed lives about 100 miles up the coast from me.
Yeah, something like that. I
Yeah.
think it's further than that. It's a good 2.5 hours to where
120
you're at.
miles, 130 miles. Yeah. Florida's a big state. People don't realize it. The trip from Pensacola in the Panhandle all the way around to Key West is what, 900 miles?
That's a good trip for
So
sure.
long. Yeah, it's a long way. And RC Fun Diversions, we were talking, it was last night, wasn't it? Yeah, on Bill Thomas's stream about the Tyro 129, and he asked me if he could see it. So let me make myself bigger here, and I will show
Hey,
it to
Mitch,
you.
I'm showing 22 people here. That's pretty good.
I know. I'm becoming a real star. I got invited to Bill Thomas's stream, and I don't know why. I guess. No, I'm flattered, and I guess maybe people are interested. At any rate, here's this is the Tyro 129 that I built that I'm flying. I'm using with iNav.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, you got quite the cell tower on the top of that thing.
yeah, and interestingly enough, it's not the Jeep when you get the Tyro 129, you get everything here. You get the motors, the props, you get a good VTX. I think it's 800 milliwatts. You
That's
get
a lot.
you get a flight controller that actually has a barometer and an SD card for logging. I mean, it's full featured, and you get. I mean, the ESC is fine. Everything is great for $129. I bought this. I got it for 117 because I had a coupon, and then he said that they were on sale for 100 and a quarter. Now you get all that for $125. All you need is a receiver. So you throw it. I use the R9 receivers, and if you can see right up here sticking out, I mounted below the camera is the antenna for the long range for the R9. That's a 900 megahertz system. It's got tremendous range, and it comes with a smaller GPS module, but it doesn't have a compass, doesn't have a magnetometer in it. And to fly a quadcopter on iNav, you need both a barometer and a magnetometer. You need an accurate measure of your height and elevation, more accurate than the GPS gives you. And you need to know which way the thing is facing, which the GPS won't tell you when you're hovering. See, it can only figure that out when it's moving.
Yeah,
Now,
when you're moving.
in an airplane, in a fixed wing, running under iNav, you don't need it or want a magnetometer because the airplane's always moving forward. And then the
Yeah.
magnetometer just fights with the GPS. The GPS is the prime indication. But the thing about these magnetometers is they're very sensitive to electrical noise, especially motor noise. So that's why you always see those things perched up on little towers. And this thing here was like $6 at Amazon. It's all machined aluminum, and it's got a thing that screws here in the bottom. And you can actually lift it up and fold it down. I don't know why you need that. And it comes with a solid carbon fiber rod and an aluminum plate up top here. And the thing is strong as hell. I mean, you can hold the whole weight of the drone sideways from this tower. You are not going to bend this thing. You can crash this thing, it can roll right over on it, and it'll just roll up over the top of it. It's really strong. But
That's another video you need to do, Mitch.
well, I'm going to do it once I get all the video of the flying of this thing together. I'm going to do a video about building it. But the point I was trying to make is you got $125 for the drone. You got less than $20 for the receiver. You got $17, $18 for this GPS module and $6 for the stand. So about $160 total.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
And it comes with the TPU printed session mount up here. I've got a cheaper Runcam 5 in here, but it works great. All that for $125.
Yeah.
And I'm saying to myself, why the hell am I building drones that cost twice as much as that? And it's flying under iNav, and it's got a Cadex camera. I think it's a Retel. It's got a terrific analog camera in it. 100 and if something happens to it, you don't have a lot of money in it. So this I thought was a kind of a fun project to kind of explore some of the new now it's not new. Guys have been flying iNav for a long time, but lately in the past, I'd say 3-4 months, they've been making a push, especially this guy Paweł Spakowski. He's a Polish fella who is one of the devs, one of the developers on iNav, and he has a YouTube channel and probably the most educational as far as the technicalities of iNav that there is. Paweł, P-A-W-E-L, Spakowski. And if you're interested in iNav, man, everything I've learned about iNav, I've learned from this guy's channel. And he's one of the developers. So when he tells you something, he knows what he's talking about. And they are putting a tremendous amount of work into it right now, adding some of the dynamic filters and RPM filtering and some of the more advanced stuff that Betaflight just got. Actually getting it into iNav too.
So now, with all that set up and adding the barometer and the magnetometer, can you now truly hit return to home and it will?
Yes, I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you as soon as I say
Art, hey Art, how you doing, brother?
Good to see you, Ed, Mitch.
Hey, Art. Hey, what's with the green screen, man? How come you're
Oh, well,
Your
my
background's on.
Really green right now.
yeah,
yeah.
my vMix has been acting up, and I didn't feel like fighting with it this evening.
Ah, there you go.
Yep.
There you go.
Well, you look fine with the green behind you, Art, and
Well,
Thomas O'Sullivan would love that.
So anyway, you were asking Ed about the iNav, and I happen to have the other day I took it for a first test flight, and it was really funny because I hadn't flown this particular 129. I had the first one I built, and it flies good. But I built this other one with the iNav, and this is the first drone I ever put iNav in, and I had never flown a drone with iNav, and I was hoping I had it all hooked up right, And I still have so much to learn about it. But what I did was I was like a little test flight, and on the DVR, on the and I was using the Viper goggles. This was before I had the DJIs working. I went ahead and recorded the actual flight. I'll narrate it. I'll narrate it for you here. Let me make
Man,
it full
your
screen.
OSD is way freaking busy though.
Well,
That
but don't forget, this is iNav, and a lot of it was diagnostic too. I wanted to make sure I had everything going right. But
I
with
gotcha.
iNav, you need you have up at the top, you have the lot and longitude. There it says 15, 16 satellites. The number right over my head says
16 is good.
yeah.
That's
The
a
number right
good
over my
number.
head is my altitude in feet. And then here, let me get myself out of this thing.
Yeah. Oh,
That,
get out.
the next number down is flight timer, then RSSI, then channel. The in the center under the compass, that's the heading. Now, right now, if you look at where's the modes? Is it behind the old guy and a drone? Oh no, down in the it's in the lower right. And let me see if I can fix it so you can see it here.
Yeah.
It says hold.
Wow.
See it? So that's in altitude and position hold, and all I did was turn it around. Okay? And it's sitting there holding its altitude and holding its position in the sky. And what
What's
happened
the
was
P? What is the P over there to the left? Is that pitch or what is that?
yeah, that's pitch. That tells you the pitch. Now, if you look in the lower right-hand corner, it says RTH. See
Yeah.
it? So, I mean, I put the transmitter down. Now up at the middle it says preparing to land. Now it says landing. And if you see that it's banking a little bit, it's because the wind was blowing that way, and
Yeah.
it's holding its position. If you look right over the
Yeah,
W on the
I'm
compass,
on.
you see
That's cool.
0. That means it's not moving 1 foot in any
Wow.
direction. It is locked in position. And if you look over at the right-hand side, 40, 39, 87, that's the altitude.
I
It's
see
actually-
it coming down.
It's actually coming down, hands off. I had already taken the goggles off, set the transmitter down. I was just watching the thing. It gets down to close to the ground and it slows down. See it? 5, 4. Now this drone has a battery on the bottom, and it actually landed on the battery and didn't tip over.
That's awesome.
That's how good the landing was. And
Yeah,
that
that's awesome.
was all autonomous. And that was the first test of the thing.
That's
The
very cool.
The second test of it, I took and I forgot to record. I was so excited I forgot to record the goggles DVR, but I did record the
Flag itself.
RunCam 5. Yeah.
I got
And I said, okay, so now I know that all that works. Let me just put it into acro, like a regular drone would be, and fly it around in acro. So I took off. Oh no, that's the first flight. Okay, that was the first flight.
Yeah.
I did both of these flights on one battery too. I didn't even change the battery. I
Wow.
just took off the
So,
second.
well, if you lose connection with your radio,
Fail
will
safe.
it automatically go into return to home?
Yep. Yeah, it automatically goes into return to home on failsafe and comes back and lands. Now
Yeah.
this is air mode. So this is flying this in air mode is just like flying any other quad. I didn't do any loops and rolls or anything in this, but there's no reason other than I was just flying it around, and this was my first time flying this quad. But you can see that it's flying just like a regular quad would fly.
Yeah.
So the cool thing about having the iNav, as far as I'm concerned, is you've got a quad, an FPV quad that you can rip around and rip through trees and loop and roll and do all that fancy stuff and go fast. And then you still have a switch that you can click and turn it into a Mavic almost, because it'll actually follow waypoints. It'll hold its heading. It'll hold its altitude. It'll do all of those things and return to home and land, yet you still have a quad that you can rip around with. So it's kind of like the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
Now
really.
for guys like Mr. Steele, they need Betaflight because the Betaflight will let you tune the performance of these things probably a lot better than iNav at this point, because iNav is lagging a little behind. But iNav is certainly good enough to do most of whatever the FPV guys were doing a year ago, if you know what I mean. So for me, it's plenty good. And you'll see here, you'll be able to tell right when I throw the switch to auto land.
Yeah. You just hit it, didn't you?
No, you'll
No,
tell.
you haven't hit it yet? Okay.
No, I'm still flying around. You'll see it. I think I actually have audio with this. Yeah. That's the herd of
I've always said, man, there's nothing wrong with just a cruise around the park.
There it is. That's where I hit.
Yeah.
Return
you
to home.
can tell it kicked
Yeah,
in.
and what it did was it immediately stopped, turned towards the home point, and like I said, the angle is the fact that there was quite a wind that day, and it had to crab into the wind.
Yep.
So it's following the course to the home point exactly. And then it gets to the home point, and just like a Mavic, it turns around and faces the way it was facing when it took off.
Oh, okay.
You'll see that. See it leveled off.
Yeah.
It turns around,
There it
turns
goes.
around,
Boom.
and now it's descending. And I mean, it's as accurate within a foot or two of where it took off. It doesn't have all the cameras on the bottom like the Mavics do. But here it is.
Man,
It's just
if it lands within 10 feet of where I took off,
Unbelievable.
I'm a happy camper.
no, right on the money. But watch the landing, and you'll see that, you know, with a bottom-mounted battery, it just didn't even fall over. That was the landing. And then the motors ran for about 3 seconds. Watch.
Mitch,
And then they stop.
Mitch,
Yes.
you
What
need
was
to
that?
do about 10 more of those precision landing videos.
First of all, that bird lands better than I ever landed, especially with
Well-
a bottom mount battery.
Yeah, you know, FPV drones with the camera up tilt are not the easiest friggin' things to land.
No, they are not.
And this takes all that right out of it. You know, I mean, it's kind of a I hate to use the word pussy's way out, but it is. But you know, see, I'm old. I got an excuse. I can use all this stuff, and anybody says anything else, I leave all that hot rod stuff to you young whippersnappers.
Yeah,
I'm old too. I'm just not as old
there
as
you go.
Yeah, but I need to do I don't know, 40 or 50 precision landing videos
Yeah, there you
on
go.
that to make sure
Yeah. And then you'll be up to like 7,000 or 8,000
subscribers.
subscribers. Yeah.
Yeah, it would be amazing if that really happened, wouldn't it, to somebody? Oh wait, it did. You know what I am going to do though is when I want to go out and I do want to film, because I really just took it out there for a test. I didn't have the cameras or anything else with me to film it, but I want to film a real acro flight where I do split S's and rolls and stuff to show that it's really an acro. You know what I mean? And then as soon as I click the switch, I'm going to get my video camera out with the zoom lens, and I'm going to follow it. You know, take my goggles off and follow the thing back and show the whole landing right on down to where it hits the ground and stops the motors.
And
That's cool.
And I think that and then talk about a little about iNav and about the setup of iNav in it, and it costs, interestingly enough, it costs nothing. Any drone, I would say 95% of the flight controllers that have Betaflight also have an iNav target for them as well. The only caveat,
I was actually going to ask that question, Mitch, is if it was a special flight controller, or if you could load it on any bird.
This is a Fury. I think it was a Fury F40 or something. Anyway, just about every flight controller has an INAV target. The only caveat is you need a barometer
Right.
for INAV. You can fly INAV without a barometer. You just can't do the automatic landings. See, and you need a magnetometer. So you need the bigger GPS with the magnetometer, and they're like $18. You can buy
That's
a
nothing.
barometer, just a barometer module for less than $10, and it just wires into the I2C bus on your flight controller. I don't know if you're familiar with what the I2C or I2C bus is, but it's the same place the magnetometer hooks up, or a little display.
On my rebuild, and it was actually the flight controller that came with it. It was gifted to me, but it's the Mamba stack, the F405.
Yeah, that does not have a magnetometer.
I know it doesn't have
No,
the
I mean,
magnetometer.
or a barometer. Has no barometer either.
Right, but it has plenty of inputs on it that I haven't
Yeah.
touched.
Well, the inputs that you need for these things, for the magnetometer and for the barometer, are what they call the I2C or I2C bus, and they're labeled SDA and SCL. You've seen those connections on your boards. SDA means, the DA means data, and the CL means clock, and that's a bus that you can connect all kinds of things to. Where are you going, Ed?
I am going to look at the little card that came with my Mamba stack.
Oh, trust me, I have a couple of them, and I went looking for the barometer, and it wasn't there.
Well, I just didn't know if the barometer was something that was an add-on, or does it have to be part of the flight controller?
No,
or-
you can get a little card with a barometer, tiny little postage stamp size board with a barometer. But if you're going to build an INAV quad, find a controller that's already got a barometer on it. And interestingly
got
enough, the thing that really tickled me when I discovered it was that the Tyro 129, that cheap thing, with a flight controller that you can buy for $20 on Banggood, a replacement flight controller, has a barometer, and all my other expensive ones don't.
I gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, go figure. Mambo, Ed is getting his Mambo on.
Now,
That was Mars. That was Mars said that. Mars gave you a little shot. Jim, above and beyond Rose. How you doing, Jim?
So,
See ya. Who else? Who else came in here?
We're
since-
just going to look at you all night, or are you too?
Oh, I'm sorry. Well,
ashamed of-
say something, guys.
Are you ashamed of having us pictured on your face?
One of the other guys did this too, and what you don't realize is, what I don't realize is, I am looking at you. I'm seeing you in the green room, so I see you guys, and
Yeah.
no, I'd rather look at you, Art. Whoops, I just lost you. There we are. I'd rather
there
look
you
at
go.
you. We'll look at you for a while.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, getting a little shaggy there. I'm ready
Yeah,
for
you and me
haircut.
both.
Yeah,
You and me, and Ed, he's deserted his post.
yeah.
completely.
Ed, I think needs a maid.
That's what's nice about a green screen.
Yeah, there.
Nobody
you go.
knows what's going on behind.
Yeah,
behind the green
that's
screen.
right. Well, all you're going to see is a bookcase behind that. Yeah.
Oh, we got Drone Kings from Darwin here too.
Yep,
I didn't
Drone
see you. How you
Kings is
doing?
here, and
Yeah. Well,
Mark-
they're coming and gone. They're coming
Yeah.
and gone. That's nice. That's nice. Yeah, and like I said, I'm going to be on Greg's show, and he really has a regimented show, so I'm really going to have to
Yeah.
behave myself. You've been on his show, haven't you?
Yes, I have
Art-
been on his
yeah.
show. Yep. Hmm.
Yeah, he. I put him on the email list for my show, so he got an invite like you guys did.
Oh, good.
And he emailed me back and he said he's sorry, but he spends all night tonight preparing for his show tomorrow, and he's too busy. And I said to myself, man, that is that is, I felt I was ashamed of myself because I spend maybe a good 7 minutes, maybe 8, preparing for these shows. You know, it's a take it as it comes. I don't you know I don't do a regimented show.
No, you do a more of a freestyle show.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
freestyle.
Yeah,
Freestyle.
at
Yeah,
least
sometimes
I-
it gets a little boring, and sometimes we get wound up. But
Well, here's the deal with that. I mean, because when I get a wild hair, as I say, and decide to go live, it's because I have something to share or somebody that
Right.
I thought was going to be on isn't on, and I may only have 5 or 10 minutes worth of stuff to say.
and
But
then you go
then
for 4
people-
hours.
But then people in the chat or whatever just keeps it rolling, you know.
Yep.
Yeah, you know, it's like getting together with the guys
Yeah.
for an evening.
Yeah, that's
You know,
right.
I don't even think about this as a show, which is
Yeah,
the difference.
just hanging
Which is
with
Yeah.
the guys, like you
Yeah.
said.
It's
it-
more
it-
like
it's
a fraternity.
yeah,
I mean,
and I don't call it a show. I don't call it a show. I call it a live stream.
Kind
It's,
of
yeah,
hanging out, you know.
yeah, hangout. Hangouts was one of the
Right.
more apt names for what
Yeah.
we do.
Mm.
But you know, I have things sometimes that I want to talk about.
Yeah.
Tonight, I really wanted to talk about my adventure trying to get that analog crap to work on the DJI goggles. For the life of me. Mars says, "Can I post a link to DJI goggle footage?" Absolutely, Mars. You post anything you want in there, unless it's something bad about me. Yeah, you can even post that. You
Can
can
I
even
How's
post that.
that
I've got-
Robo Warrior going, Art? That was
Huh?
pretty cool. How's that Robo thing?
Oh,
Robot.
I'm having fun with it. Yeah. Yeah. I need to take it out again and see how well, see how well it does on pavement and on grass. I imagine on grass, unless it's cut really short, it might have a hard time.
You need to screw with some people in Walmart or something with that thing.
Yeah, he'll end up in jail. Are you
Well-
actually doing anything with it, Art? Or
Well, I have mounted a GoPro mount on the top.
Really?
Did a comparison with the GoPro and the camera that came with it, and the camera that came with it is pretty good. It's a 1080p, and it's not quite as sharp as the GoPro. GoPro seems like it has a crisper look to it, but the problem with the GoPro is you kind of have that curved image off to the side.
well,
On the
that's
old,
the wide angle. That's the wide angle.
well, yeah,
GoPros, you know, that's.
it's a GoPro 3 Hero.
I wouldn't
3.
be surprised, Art, if the camera. This is the camera that is in the DJI FPV.
Yeah,
And it's a 1080.
yeah.
1080p camera. I wouldn't be surprised if it isn't. If this isn't the same camera they stuck in that.
Well, it looks kind of like the same camera as the what is it? The Osmo Pocket.
But there's no gimbal.
That's right. This one doesn't have a gimbal either, except for the
No, the Osmo. You mean the Osmo Action? You're talking about?
no, not
No, the
yet.
Osmo Pocket has a gimbal.
Yes, but it looks, if you look at the camera itself, it's just a little rectangular thing.
Yeah, that's why I'm wondering if it isn't. This may be a little different
could-
case, but I think it
Yeah.
might be the same.
Yeah,
It might be the same sensor and the same camera.
Yeah.
And
I bet it is.
does now these are fairly wide. These have like 140-degree field of view.
Hmm.
So that's almost approaching the GoPro,
Yeah.
type of field of view, which you want when you're flying a drone. You want to see what's going
Yeah.
on. You don't want to fly like you're flying in tunnel vision.
Right. Well, I think the next time I take it over to my sister's cat, I'll get a thin piece of wire and tape a little feather on it and watch the cat just go crazy. Or a string and have the feather on the string and just go around and watch the cat go.
Have you had this desire to torment animals all your life, or is this something new?
Just my sister's cat because it's a brat sometimes.
Cats are fun to torment.
Oh, yeah.
Well, and the best part is they don't care.
Yep.
No, they like it.
Mhm.
They cats. You're lucky that if you have a cat, you're lucky they let you live in their house.
Yeah,
Yeah,
And
right.
they do have
right.
they have that attitude. I had a cat that if this cat could talk, it would have like a one-word vocabulary, and that one-word vocabulary would be asshole, because this cat would walk up to you and would give you a look, and you know what he's thinking, and then he'd walk away.
Yeah.
My
And I-
cat loves me when he's hungry
Yeah.
and when he's cold.
Yeah, it's kind of like my ex-wife. Same thing.
Well,
What'd you
evidently-
do for me? What'd you do for me today, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, that was
The
yesterday.
cat-
What about today? Yeah.
The cat does like to partake, though.
Well, I think cats are cool. I mean, I've never had a dog in my whole life. I'm
No?
not crazy about dogs, but because I don't want.
Yeah,
I like dogs. They're all my family, my kids have dogs. Both of them, they love their dogs. When I
Yeah.
go over to their place, they want me to love their dogs. So I
Yeah.
doggy and I pet the dog. But and I watch the people walking around with the little plastic bags,
Oh yeah.
and
They
they
got
put
their
their
little
hand in the plastic bag, put their hand in the bag, and they reach down
Yeah.
and they say to me, Mitch, why don't you get a dog? And my answer to them is, I'd love to have a dog. When I find one that'll follow me around and clean up my crap, I'll buy that dog.
Well, first of all, I love dogs.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
And I can understand that. I mean, they're lovable.
But they're
They
a
are.
lot of work. They're
They
a lot
are,
of
man. There's
work.
a lot of work and tragedy and illness when they get sick. It breaks your heart. And
Yeah.
I know people spend $10,000 vet
Yeah.
bills on these dogs when they get sick. My kids, the money they spend, and then when they want to go away, they got to have someplace to put the dog, or pay a dog sitter to come to the house, and then when I go over there, most of the time the dog's just doing something that aggravates them. Like running out and chase after. So I don't know. I had birds. I had parrots.
I got a few cockatiels. They stay in a cage outside. They're in an outside aviary. The cat, none of the cats that I have did I invite here. They just showed up and I fed them.
We got them like that. These people in our neighborhood, they feed these feral cats, and they are a nuisance, an absolute nuisance. And you tell them,
And then
quit
they make
feeding these things, but these animal lovers, they
but they're so cute.
yeah, they're cute when they're
I
marking.
got like
When you walk out of your house and you go, "What's that smell?" and they mark your whole front of your house as their territory. Yeah, that's cute.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's cute.
yeah.
And the guy across the street from me, when they tore up his new convertible top in his brand new car with their claws, that was cute too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was adorable. That was adorable.
Or you wake up at 2 a.m. and it's
Yeah, I've been woke up a few times.
We got, and it's gonna sound funny when I say this, but it's Manamana
Yeah.
FPV.
Phenomena.
You remember that song? Manamana dum dum da da dum. Remember that song? Manamana dum da da. Yeah, that's a cool name. I like that. Yeah, I like that. That's a very
Yeah. What show was that?
ah.
That was wasn't that the Wasn't
Oh.
that
Oh, it was like it was.
the Muppet?
I think it was.
No, it was way
No?
back in the
it's before
Sid
that.
Caesar days,
No,
Yeah, Muppet.
yeah, yeah,
Got it.
Muppets. Was that the Muppets?
yeah.
But somebody had it before the Muppets, I thought.
No,
Look, do you
know
know how long the Muppets have been around, Mitch? Come on, brother.
Yes, I do. As a matter of fact, they were after my. There was no Muppets when I was a kid, but
it said the Muppet.
same as this picture. I guess it is the Muppets. Okay,
Yeah.
well,
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting too old, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Over in the
You know, hey, I love Mana. I stumble over my tongue when I try and say that name. But,
Easy for you to
Yeah,
say.
who's the guy? Is it Monster on the drums with the chains on?
Oh,
I
that's
always love that guy.
animal.
Animal, that's it.
Yeah. You know, did you hear the guy that played Big Bird has passed away?
No, I didn't hear that.
Yeah.
Just
Oh.
recently, I'm surprised.
Yeah, I think
he
it was
lasted
last
this long.
week. And Philip McKean from Alice passed away. He was only 55. And
Man.
Rene Aubergenois, I think is his name. He's got a French last name. You probably remember him from Benson.
From Benson.
Yeah. You know,
What part did he play on Benson? Or
well,
was Benson?
Well, he was a tall, uppity guy. You know, his name was, oh God. I'll have to Google
Oh,
it.
yeah, I think I know who you're talking about. God, this stuff goes back, man. Well, you're almost as old as me, Art. You're getting up there.
Yeah, I'll
Aren't
be
you?
60 next month.
You'll be 60.
Well, I got you beat, Art.
That's what I said when I called you an old fart, Ed, when you came in.
Now, I don't have that old fart Mitch.
No, you haven't got me beat. There's a few guys on here that are older than me, but I think they exaggerate a little about their age, if you ask them.
Why
But,
would anybody want to exaggerate about their age?
you know, I'm with you. I feel the same way about my hairline. It is what it is. And in fact, I've always been proud of my age. I wear that as like a merit badge. You know, medals from a battlefield. You know, to me, it's something to be proud of.
You know what they say, Mitch? The Lord only made so many perfect heads. The rest they covered with hair.
Yes, that's true. That's true. Or your brains push the hair out or something.
Yeah.
Mana is 38 years old. 38 is, I'm almost twice, not quite yet, my friend, but I'm almost twice your age. Almost. If you were 36, I'd be twice your age.
Hey, that's how old my girlfriend is.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm coming up on 73 here pretty soon.
Oh my God! I'll never make 73.
Well, you know, I get the biggest bang out of and I guess I'm proud of the fact that, you know,
You
I ask
should,
people,
Mitch. You look great.
you
for
point
73.
out another 73-year-old on YouTube that just took up FPV drones. I mean, it's you know, it's a
Well, you know
to
what?
me it's
Mitch, you're young at heart. You're a kid at heart. You take on FPV. You start off flying RC planes, and then helicopters. Then you decide, hey, let's put a camera on a helicopter. Let's
Yeah.
let's do that. You know, Mitch, you just dated yourself a while ago when you said filming. I was filming with my drone. I'm like,
yeah.
really? How many rolls does that hold?
You know, when I was in college, in Philadelphia. This was in like 1965.
Was that
Okay.
scope back then?
No, they that round thing with the
Oh,
candle in the middle
yeah.
and the windows. And,
yeah, crank.
no, I actually was working when I was in college. I actually worked for a photography company in Philly called Motion Picture Producers, and what we did was training films. Nothing really big time,
Right.
but like we did a film for the Delaware Valley Port Authority, where we were climbing all over the masts of their ships, shooting the ports and everything. I mean, this is before drones, so we had to climb up there to get these shots, and we were shooting with 35 millimeter film, which is a big ass heavy
Yeah,
camera, and then I actually did editing back in those days,
yeah.
film editing. Yeah,
That-
I wouldn't even
that's
remember how to do
what-
that now,
The
but
razor
with
blade and
the
tape.
white gloves and the
Yeah.
whole 9 yards, and all the different strips hanging up, all the different, and I was learning how to edit back in those days too. So I do go back to filming. Yes.
Yeah, back then you're probably saying, God damn it, I wish I had Adobe Premiere about now.
Jerry Calvary's here. Hi, Jerry.
Hey,
How you
Jerry.
doing?
Hi, Jerry.
Yeah, we got the Ken Heron warm-up show going on.
Yeah, that's
Yeah. Everybody will, another 10, 15 minutes, people will start bailing so they can get a good seat over there at
Yeah,
Ken's
sit
Ken's
there.
show.
I'm one of the few guys. Watch the whole darn show. I think it's that entertaining.
You
Who's
know,
Ken show?
I have never watched a Ken Heron video.
Really?
Really?
Is that blasphemy or what?
No, you don't. Some people enjoy it. Some of his stuff I could take or leave. Some of his stuff I think is terrific.
Mhm.
I think he's an incredibly talented guy.
Yeah.
From a show business standpoint, not just as a drone pilot. He's a good drone pilot, but from as a showman, because that's his profession as a radio
Yeah,
announcer.
that's why I appreciate him, because I was stand-up comic for 25 years. I did a little bit of radio, I'd be a guest on radio show. And I had a lot of friends in the radio business. I still do. And so I have a unique appreciation for radio, and I understand where he's coming from. And he's just a talented guy. He's I wish I had his stamina for order, getting things done. I'm procrastinating. I'm like, holy crap! I still gotta get a guest for Saturday, and then I get a guest for Sunday. Although I did get a hold of Congressman Ken Buck's office. I sent them an email yesterday, and they sent it off to their scheduler, and hopefully I'll have him on in the future.
Cool. Yeah, we need to get some more. If I'm not doing anything on, first of all, Sunday afternoon is a tough time.
Yeah.
Because Sunday afternoon is a day that people are either out doing something or family or something like that. So it's a tough time.
Oh,
Fortunately, I have no life. So, now that I've discovered you, I come in and hang with you. And
yeah, that's right.
and Lloyd. Where is Lloyd anyway? I haven't seen him tonight.
Probably be at the other show.
The other show hasn't started yet.
No, but it usually shows up fairly early.
I got an echo coming from. I got an echo coming from somewhere.
Yeah, and I'm not Spike. So
Which one of you guys is it? I'm going to mute Ed. All right, go ahead and talk, Art.
All right, I testing. What?
Any echo? Any echo?
I don't
No.
hear an echo.
Okay.
You?
It's you, Ed. It's coming from you somewhere.
Yeah, he's probably got his mic up too loud, because I notice he's kind of booming a little bit.
But that's I learned that trick when you start muting people until the echo goes away. And you can and the other day it was Spike. Spike was the one that was the guilty party.
Yeah.
Is it still there?
Well, it wasn't so much when you talk; it was when we talked.
Yeah.
It's feeding back through. You're listening on your speakers, aren't you? You don't have headphones.
Yeah, it usually isn't a problem.
Yeah, well, that's what it is. It's not a big problem. It's just
No.
a little tiny bit in the background, and that's why when you wear headphones, that can't happen.
Yeah.
But it loops back from your speakers back into your microphone. See,
Yep. Uh-huh.
so turn your volume down a little would probably help.
I did that, and the sound is actually coming from my TV, which is like 6 feet behind where my microphone is at. And it's never really, at least no one's ever said anything about it. It never seemed to be an issue.
Yeah, well, it wasn't that bad. It was just, you're saying to yourself, am I hearing that or not?
Yeah.
But that's what it was. And I know that it sometimes, if I appreciate being told when there's something going on either with the audio in my stream that's annoying the hell out of everybody, because I would want everybody to have a non-annoying experience watching.
No, I get that completely.
Yeah.
I was on Centroid stream yesterday, and the same thing was happening.
Yeah, and what happened, a lot of times you have audio processing, and I learned to disable it finally in StreamYard. But the audio processing tries to make up for that stuff, and it ducks, it mutes, lowers the volume, and it screws around with things. And if you've got something in the background going on, you play havoc trying to understand what people are saying, because it's constantly screwing with the audio. And that was happening in Spike's stream a week or two ago, when because he was playing background music through his mixer while there were 6 people in the chat trying to all talk.
Yeah.
And it started to make me nervous. I mean, I couldn't understand anything anybody was saying. This noise kept, anytime somebody took a breath, the music would get louder. And then somebody would start to talk and it'd quiet down a little bit. But this music coming and gone was very, very annoying. So I suggested, I know Spike likes to do a professional type thing. So I suggested that maybe when you have 6 people in your panel, don't play background music.
Oh, another thing he needs to get is a cover for his mic, because I can hear him breathing when he finishes a sentence. You hear it.
Really, I didn't notice that.
Oh God! Last week, I'm listening. He goes,
Wheezing, Lenny.
Maybe he had a cold.
I don't know if he had a cold or he just didn't realize that he was breathing too hard. He almost sounded like Darth Vader,
But I really like Spike. He's got a good heart.
Yes, he does.
Got a good heart, and he reminds me of the old the Flower Power.
Yeah.
And the Woodstock generation, which was my generation. I didn't make it to Woodstock when it happened.
Yeah.
I'm kind of glad I didn't. After it was kind of a muddy mess, but I didn't make it to Woodstock. But that was my generation, and I did travel up through that part of New York State a few times through where Woodstock was.
Right.
Of course, by then you'd never known it. They had it all cleaned up, but
how much wood can a Woodstock stock?
Yeah. There was a documentary film about Woodstock.
Yeah.
That was on either Netflix or Amazon here last year.
Right.
It was. I'm trying to remember who put it out. It was terrific.
Yeah.
It was a very, very good and accurate documentary. Very good accounting of what of the promoters and the
Right.
chances that they took and the
Yeah.
gambles, and then they thought they were going to have 50, 75,000 people, and 500,000 people showed up.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah.
Oh man, yep. What's the name?
I
of it?
went.
Yeah.
I went to a
Astor's
place
Farm,
in,
yeah.
out of Lakeland. It was right around Lakeland, Mitch, and it was called the Sunfest, and
The
it was
Sun
very Woodstock-like, although probably 10 years later. And what a blast that was. And I remember carrying a cooler of beer into that place with some other friends. A big cooler, by the way, probably a 48 quart thing.
Oh boy.
I hauled that thing all over that place. But there was no trash receptacles or whatever, and we were just listening to the people play. And there was no place to put the empty beer cans, so we just started a pile. And then we wandered around and stuff like that. And we came back, and that little pile of beer cans had become a mountain. Because everybody thought, oh, well, there's some beer cans there. We'll just put ours there, too.
Yeah,
and it got like
And-
5 feet high, you know?
And
you
I'm
drop-
sure, Ed, that you cleaned them all up like the good little Boy Scout that you
No,
are.
no, I
Hey.
let the people, aluminum scrappers, come get that stuff.
Oh, you could have paid for your trip if you would have recycled those. You could.
So I guess I have 2 videos I got to make now, guys, after tonight. I got to make a video about my iNav adventure on the Tyro 129, and I got to make a video about my DJI
Oh, there
goggles
you
mod.
go.
Yeah, with the analog. iFlight put out has a kit they put out. It only costs like $20, and they give you the 3D printed cover, and it has a mount for a module, and it comes with the little BEC to convert the voltage. But you have to in order to use it, you have to take the goggles apart and void the warranty. And there's like, it's quite an adventure. And Joshua Bardwell put out a video showing how to do it.
Oh.
All the time saying, don't try this at home, kids. I'm not recommending that you do this because you could ruin your goggles. And then this other guy comes up with this deal. I wish I could say I invented it, but he came up with this. He said, well, why not do the same thing? Just run a couple wires around the outside and be done with it, and not actually have to open the goggles up and screw up the
Right.
warranty. And I said, now there you go. There's an idea. So that's I found the file and 3D printed it, and that's what we were. You saw that, Art, didn't you? We were talking about that earlier.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So I'll make a video about that too. But I really, in the video, want to make sure that I do credit the guys that,
Right.
one guy that turned me onto it, and the other guy who really, you got to hand it to these guys that, do you know what it takes to create a CAD drawing for a 3D piece like this? And so you can 3D print it?
No.
It's a lot of work. And to do that and then just throw it up on this Thingiverse and make it public domain with no, you can donate to them if you want, but you don't have to, kind of thing.
Right.
I admire people. I admire people like that.
Yeah.
If I ever design anything worth that anybody would find valuable, I'll throw it up there. But so far, I haven't designed anything. I've just been
Right.
printing other guys' stuff. And there's tons of stuff up there too. It's
Yeah.
it's tremendous. It's tremendous. And 400 Joan, you have to have a set of DJI goggles to work from too. Yeah, you do, Mel. I'm pretty sure that they started with this thing is so close or almost exactly like the faceplate that's on there. I'm pretty sure that they did a 3D scan of the original faceplate as a starting point, and then built up the module holder on the front of it in
Right.
the CAD program. I can't imagine that they actually redrew those goggles. So somebody took the time to do it. Ariel GP has some good info, Mitch. Okay. Thank you, Mars. So who we still got here? Because it's 10 minutes to 8.
Yeah, we got Thomas O'Sullivan.
Tomas O'Sullivan is still here, and
Yeah.
Mana is still here, and Mana will BRB, and Jim above and
Jim,
beyond. Which
yep.
which 3D
Hey,
printer would you
Grumpy
suggest
Bob is
buying me?
here.
Jim, I got the Ender 3, but the version of it I got was a special deal, and it came from a company, Sane Smart. And it doesn't say Ender on it, but it's an Ender 3. I bought it as an Ender 3. But what Sane Smart did was took the Ender 3 and did a few of the upgrades to it that people, a better print head, shielding, little things that people upgrade. And this was already done on mine, and I didn't even know it. I didn't even know it. But it's an Ender 3 nonetheless, and it's a good printer. Now, Joshua Bardwell, if you look at his channel, he has just gotten into 3D printing, and he found some other printer, which is about $250, $300 that looks like it's really good because it's got, it doesn't use the Bowden tube in the print head. It's direct drive print head, and maybe it's a little better. You might want to look at his video because he's going to be doing one on the Ender 3 too. But yeah. I paid $160 for mine. So for $160, how you can't go wrong. And it was able to, it printed this thing. Right. So, and I print, which is a beautiful piece of printing. And I also print in the TPU flexible stuff with no problem whatsoever. So I'm kind of happy with mine. Old guy on a bike. Hey, another old guy. Welcome. Welcome. I love your name, man. Old guy. That's got a nice ring to it, doesn't it? Old guy.
I met that guy over at Pusa Studios.
Another old guy. Well, we'll give you a wrench.
Yeah, give him a wrench.
I also ride a bike. So when I ride a bike, then I am an old guy on a bike as well.
Yeah. And we got Rick Halbert.
Rick Halbert's here, and
and I did see Lloyd in here just briefly.
Really? I didn't see Lloyd. There. Oh, there he is, Grumpy Vlog. Hey, Lloyd, how you doing?
Yeah.
I watched Lloyd's video today, and I really got a chuckle about it. He was talking about the idiots that are talking to the news people after they witness a crime. That's funny. He says, "Where do they find these people?"
Yeah,
it was the name of his video, and I said to him, "It's not hard." I said, "They're not hard to find, Lloyd. They are everywhere."
Yeah.
You don't have to go too far to find a moron these days.
I like the one that Ken has. I think it was someone with the police department, and this guy obviously had a really bad toupee on, and it was like every time he would go back to that, and just like
I remember that.
Yeah.
When I see a guy wearing a really bad, I call them hair hats. When I see a guy, and usually if you're standing behind him is where you can really tell.
Yeah.
Because they'll have the dark brown.
Yeah.
Toupee. And then the gray white hair will be sticking out, curling from underneath it. It reminds me of that scene when in Seinfeld when Costanza gets the toupee.
Yeah.
And Elaine grabs it off his head and throws it out the window. Remember that? Right, that's what I want to do with these people when I see these. I want to smack them in the head. Say, first of all, you're not fooling anybody. You're making yourself look like an idiot wearing that thing.
I have a really good friend. This is like years and years ago. His dad had a toupee. And one time I was over at his parents' house, and Mr. Garrett, I think it was early in the morning, he still had his robe on. He came out, and I turned around and I go, "Where's your hat?"
Where's your hat? What is that?
He just looked at me, he started chuckling.
Uh,
And this is the same guy we were watching Barbershop on DVD. And after the movie is over, he's up at the machine. He goes, "How do I rewind this?" DVD.
Oh, DVD. Oh, okay. Well, some of us are a little slow. How do I rewind it?
I'm biting my lip not to just bust out laughing, but
That's
my teacher said, "Dad, you don't rewind the DVD."
we don't even use DVDs anymore.
Oh
What's
yeah,
it?
I know. I still
I mean-
have one underneath my TV, and it has a VCR.
Yeah.
I-
How about CDs? Nobody plays a CD anymore. Everything is all digital, and I've got a huge collection of DVDs. I don't even remember if I remember how to work the stupid DVD player.
Yeah.
I mean, because the resolution on the average DVD was 640 by 480. It was terrible compared to the stuff we had. And then the
Right.
Blu-ray stuff came out.
Yep.
That still nothing like you get on streaming. Unfortunately.
Really. So the videos you get from streaming it over versus the Blu-ray is better.
Well, Blu-ray was 1080, wasn't it? Just high def, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't know what the K would be. It might.
I think
be
it was
only
1080. I think
Yeah,
Blu-ray
you're
was
probably
1080p.
right.
Normal. The first DVDs that came out, the ones that were like 4 gigabyte capacity,
Right.
were 640 by 480.
Really?
I think. Yeah. And then I don't know. It's been so long since I've looked at them. I've got some of them, but I mean,
God.
I know the Blu-rays that I have are no better than 1080p. That's for sure.
Right.
And now they've
I'll
got
be
the new super ones that you can go to 4K. But why?
So
why
when you go to the movie, what resolution is that?
God knows that whether if it's film or digital. So many of the movie theaters, most of them now are probably digital.
You think?
So yeah, I think so. So it just depends on their equipment. Well, I'll tell you what, guys.
All righty. Yeah, I
Time
just got the notice.
before Art deserts me, I'll throw him out. You can't quit. You're fired.
All right, man.
All right.
Anyway, I'm gonna wrap it up. We've been doing this for about 2 hours, and
Yeah.
I tell you the fastest 2 hours in television here. Honest to God, don't know where the time goes when we do these
Take
things.
care, Mitch.
All right, buddy. Say hi to Ken for me. I'll catch you in about 10 minutes over there, and you probably won't see me say hi when that thing's streaming by like it does. But
All right. Okay.
I'll light up a
Bye-bye.
cigar and watch it. All right, I'll see you next time, Art. Thanks for coming in, buddy.
See you later, alligators after a while, crocodile.
Okay, there's Art and Ed. Thanks for coming in. Thanks for coming in, buddy.
My pleasure.
Yeah, had a good show. Glad to have you. And I don't know where the hell the time went, but it did.
2
So,
hours and 5 minutes, almost
Yeah,
6.
yeah.
Nice stream,
I don't
Mitch.
know. And I'll tell you, I got 19, 20 people still here. I hate to shut it down, but leave them wanting more, I guess.
That's the way it rolls, man.
Yeah,
At some point, you just gotta pull the plug.
Yeah, well, I enjoy it. I'm going to have a little dinner and watch a little Ken Heron, maybe work on my little analog module a little bit. And hopefully, I don't know about tomorrow, but Saturday, hopefully we get some decent weather. I'll go out and fly and
Yeah,
make
it's
that
been,
video.
weather has been Delta Sierra here too. And I hope to be flying this weekend too. So good day to you, Mitch.
All right, my friend. Thanks for coming in, Ed, and you're always welcome here. We'll see you the next time.
Later, brother.
All right, take care. And that leaves just me. This is how I started. And let me get a little music going here in the background. And run up the chat and say goodbye to those of you that hung around, and I appreciate you all coming in. Always good to to see you, and no, we haven't bored you senseless. So that's good too. Jerry Calvary, good to see you, buddy. And one of these days, my friend, why don't you? I send you links. Get your butt in here already, for God's sakes. Every week I wait for you. So enough procrastinating, Jerry. Next week, if you don't have the link, if you don't get the link, let me know. And when you get home, and doesn't matter when, come on into the panel for a few minutes. We talk about building drones. Mel, thanks a lot, buddy. Always good to see you, and glad you came in. Mars, later, buddy. You take care of down under there. Jim, above and beyond. Old guy on a bike. Thanks for coming in. Metro Drones, Tomas, Lloyd, if you're still here. Grumpy Vlogger, Mel, Manamana. Good to see you, my friend. Love that name. I really do. And Rick Halber, thanks for being here. And who else did I miss? If I missed that, Steve Mack, if you're still here, thanks for coming in. And everybody, I deeply and truly appreciate it. So with that said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take the rest of the day off. I wish I could play with my drones though, but it's dark and rainy. So maybe we'll do that tomorrow. And you too, take the rest of the day off. Have a great night. Enjoy the Ken Herron show. And I'm going to turn you over to my sidekick, Spank, the monkey, and let him say goodnight. And I will see you next week.